These are your natural resources notes. We will cover renewable resources and non-renewable resources. This set should span 2 pages, and you'll have a summary on the very last page. What are natural resources? Natural resources are resources found in nature that are useful to people. Natural resources can be classified as renewable or non-renewable. Renewable resources. The prefix re means again. Therefore, a renewable resource is a resource that can be replaced or reused. Not reused, more like it can be renewed, we can get it again as quickly as it is used. Renewable resources almost never run out. We're going to look at a few different types of renewable resources, the first one being solar. Solar energy is energy that is harnessed from the sun. Solar energy is considered clean energy because it does not release pollutants. One of those pollutants is greenhouse gases. So in other words, it's not going to harm the environment. Wind energy is produced by a wind turbine. The motion of the blades generates electricity without the use of fossil fuels. So we're not using coal, oil, and natural gas if we're using wind energy. Hydropower. Hydro means water. Hydropower is energy that is created from the force of moving water, so that push that water gives. Oops. Water flows through a dam, which pushes turbines, just like in wind energy. Again, these are clean energy sources. Geothermal. Geo means earth. For example, in geography, it's spelled G-E-O. It is the study of the earth. Thus, geothermal energy is heat that comes from deep inside the earth, which is why you have that volcano here. So this is another heat energy, just like we talked about thermal. Same thing, but this one's coming from the earth. Biomass. Bio means life. If you're studying biology, you are studying life. Biomass energy is energy that comes from plants and animals, so things that are alive. The stored energy comes from the sun. You know that plants store up energy that come from the sun to make their own food and things like that. Burning biomass releases the stored energy. What is the effect on the environment? Even renewable resources can have damaging effects on the environment. For instance, solar power requires land use, which can result in habitat loss. So this is when you are destroying an animal's habitat or an animal's living place so that we can use it for solar energy to create those plants. The use of hydropower involves building dams, which can change the flow of water and affect aquatic ecosystems. Aquatic is anything underwater. Burning biomass can release harmful greenhouse gases into our atmosphere. Even though renewable resources are less harmful to the environment, even still, renewable resources are going to be way less harmful to the environment than your non-renewable resources. So even though we have these bad things, they're typically better than the other side, which we're going to talk about next. The prefix non means not. Therefore, a non-renewable resource is a resource that cannot be replaced. As quickly as it is used. Non-renewable resources will eventually run out. There are two types of non-renewable resources. Nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is the first type, by the way. Nuclear energy is released by splitting uranium atoms. We don't talk about this much in 5th grade science, but we're going to go on ahead and write it since it's here. Splitting the atoms produces heat, which generates steam that powers a turbine. And this also produces electricity. Nuclear power is considered a clean source of energy because it does not produce greenhouse gases. So anything that does not produce a greenhouse gas uses clean energy. Is considered clean energy. The other type is fossil fuels. These we have talked about before. Fossil fuels come from the remains of dead plants and animals. After millions of years, heat and pressure, these dead plants and animals are turned into fossil fuels. There are three types of fossil fuels: coal, crude oil, and natural gas. Coal is a solid, sedimentary rock formed from ancient plants. Crude oil is also called petroleum. It is a liquid that was formed from the remains of ancient marine organisms. Remember, marine means ocean creatures, microscopic usually, in this case. And natural gas is a mixture of gases that is often found with petroleum. It is composed mainly of odorless, colorless gas called methane. How these things affect the environment. There are numerous harmful effects caused by burning fossil fuels. For instance, when fossil fuels are burned, they release harmful pollution into the air, which can damage our health. The burning of fossil fuels is also causing a global climate change. Weather patterns are also threatening biodiversity within ecosystems. I'm sorry, I skipped a line. Weather patterns are changing, leading to an increase in certain types of natural disasters. So more tornadoes, melting of icebergs, things like that. Climate change is also threatening biodiversity within ecosystems, and we'll talk more about biodiversity later on in the year. Some species are not able to adapt or change to the changing environment and may one day become extinct. For your summary, I want you to tell me or answer the question, why is it important to conserve our natural resources? So why should we save our natural resources? And why should we choose to use renewable forms of energy over non-renewable forms?